I grew up in a very loving, stable Christian home. My parents decided to pull me out of private school and they put me in a public junior high school. That's pretty much when everything started. Once I did go to high school, I started making friends. Unfortunately, my need for acceptance was so great that I chose the wrong crowd. And when I was 18, I met my first husband. We found out I was pregnant. He told me that he probably would not stay with me forever. He couldn't promise that. And that any talk of marriage that we had already had, he was gonna call off because he just wasn't ready to be a father. So wanting to keep him, I went along with him and I had an abortion. I terminated the pregnancy. We did get married and we did everything right. We had the house. We were young 20-somethings that had our act together. We had good jobs. He had finished college and things were going great, so I thought. And then one day he just said, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you," and he just walked out. I just spiraled completely out of control after that. And I just buried myself in a bottle. When I did get my divorce granted, I took a very large settlement. I went crazy. I went to Ecuador and lived there for 3 months. Stopped speaking to my family. I started blaming everything that was wrong in my life on them and my strict upbringing. Blamed God for everything. I went so far as to denounce God. I just didn't care. I didn't care what I did, who I did it with, what substance I was putting in my body. I was smoking crack daily by this point, and within 9 months, I blew through $100,000. Through a series of events, but I ended up here. Within a short time, I lost my dog, my car, my job. I had a suicide attempt, which I survived, put me in a mental hospital. My plan was to be there for the long-term program, but they were doing renovations and they ran out of beds, so I couldn't stay. So next thing I know, I'm in the middle of New Orleans, a city I don't know at all. One of the techs comes up to me, he goes, "Have you heard of the New Orleans Mission?" And I'm like, "Isn't that a homeless shelter?" Next thing I know, I'm signing up for the discipleship program, and I'm thinking to myself, I really don't want to submit myself to a year, but I need a place to sleep and I need food. Within the first 2 days, I knew God told me this is where you're supposed to be. Within a week, I had recommitted my life back to the Lord. And long story short, He's had me over here at Lynn Haven now since October, and I'm graduating on Saturday, and I have started my master's program. I've had complete restoration with my mom and dad, my brother, his wife. It was about a month after I was at the mission that I called and they answered the phone. They actually had been praying for me. I told them I could not be able to wait to leave and move back to Florida and just start my life over, and now they're gonna have to pull me away kicking and screaming because I don't know if I'll ever leave. I love it. This place has saved my life.